old buzzards. So what I did, I went out on the yard, and where they had exercise equipment and weights, and I got out there. And I began to lift weights and began the process of building myself up. And I was working in the kitchen so I could eat twice as many pancakes and eggs as the average person. I said, their eyes may shine, their teeth may grit, but this is one old boy they're not going to get. And, you know, I was a pretty, I was a fighter, but I had gotten myself in such a bad shape. And I felt like, and I believe inwardly, I don't remember myself ever really praying verbally, but I believe I was really inside looking for some divine assistance for the first time in my life, because I didn't want to hurt anybody, because that was the trick. If people could get you in a fight down there, your time is short. If they can get you in a fight, now you're going to have to spend more time, especially if you kill somebody. You're never going to get out. So that was my desire, to do my time and get out of there. And I felt like if I could just get out, I was willing to change my career path. And certainly the Lord blessed me. I was able to get through there, get out, and got me a job. And it seemed like when I stopped stealing and doing all the bad things that I was doing, now I'm not saved, but I'm just reforming. And there was an unseen hand there that I now know was God that was helping me. I was in the midst of a reform. I stopped drinking so much except for on the weekends, and I would go down to the liquor. I would go down to the lounges, and invariably, now that I'm trying to be a good citizen, I would get robbed. They were sticking me up, taking my hard-earned money. And see, Elijah Muhammad back then in Chicago, there were three major thrusts of philosophy that affected us young Afro-Americans. It was what we heard from Dr. Martin Luther King. He came to Chicago during the Civil Rights. I came through the 60s. I was a part of the riots and the Black Power movement and all of that stuff. And Dr. King came and he said, you've got to be nonviolent. But then we had Malcolm X said, if they put their hands on you one time, make sure they don't do it again. So I'm getting these mixed messages as a young Afro-American. And I'm on the streets. I'm in the real world where gangs are shooting at me. And the peer pressure to join in with the gang and all of that. And that's why I kind of figured it out. That's why I stayed so drugged. I was confused. I was disoriented about what I was supposed to do. Why am I here? What's going on here? I was confused. So I tried the escape route. But as I said, these three philosophies, Elijah Muhammad, who was the leader of the black Muslims, they were a militant group. Then you had the Black Panthers, who were my friends, who were arming themselves ready to shoot the police. And my brother was a Chicago police, so that really put me in a precarious situation. I said, no, I can't go with that group. That's too radical. But Elijah Muhammad was teaching us while I was locked up in jail. He was telling the young black men that the white man was the devil. I'm not kidding. He was telling us he's the devil. He said you can't trust him. And so he said he'll rip you off. And so I got all of this. I don't believe this, but you know, there's enough fuel there for what has happened in Mississippi and those other places to build an argument that the at least might be the devil's cousin. But when I stopped all the stealing and I'm going to work, when I would go down there, they would rob me. And I said, wait a minute. They told me the white man was the devil. I said, but that was a soul brother that got me last night. It was the black people that were robbing me. I said, there's more devils. There's some black devils out there too. So that was a great awakening to realize that. And I began to faintly get a little understanding that evil shows its ugly head in all races. That's right. And the devil sits back and tells us that those people are the problem. And he tells other people, those people are the problem. And then he said, the Mexicans, if it wasn't for the Mexicans, we'd have more jobs. No, that's not the problem. The Mexicans are not the problem. It's our own laziness. See, we look for a reason to blame somebody else. It's the old story. Adam turns and said, it was the woman you gave me. Not only is he blaming Eve, he's blaming God. You gave her to me. I was sleeping. I woke up and I'm married. And one of my ribs is gone. He said, it's not my fault, Lord. It's the woman you gave me. And isn't that characteristic of what we see? Husbands blaming their wives for everything. But remember, brother, we are the head. See, the head, if something goes wrong with my head, my body's going to be all out of whack. Because this is the control center. That's right. When you get that head straightened out, that body, in many cases, will begin